Bonjour à tous.
Good morning.
Nous sommes à la conférence de presse du film.
Welcome to the press conference on Jiang's film,
Liao Fan,
Ashes Purest White. We have Zhao, Liao Fan, the producers of the film, Shozo Ichayama, Nathaniel Karmitz, and two interpreters, Pascal Wei and Vincent Zhang. If you have a question, please raise your hand. I'll start with the first question myself for JIANG. I wanted to know why you chose for this film a very feminine portrait of a woman who's really on the margin of society.
就是在这个3年多前吧，就是我在整理我以前拍摄的一些电影的素材，因为我从2001年有了第一台 DV 摄影机之后，我一直习惯带着它拍很多东西，有纪录片，也有小的戏剧的片段。然后我在看这些素材的时候，从2001年到现在的素材，因为里面有同样一个演员就是赵涛。 然后我看到这10几年，这位女性她的脸，她的变化，她的生活的变化，我突然觉得，可能我可以讲述这2001年的这张脸跟2018年这张脸之间发生了什么。
The portrait of a woman springs from the fact that 3 years ago, I started to look through all the rushes I had built up for quite some time. In 2001, it was the first time I had a small DV camera, and I started to use it for documentary images and to test certain fictional films. And I went through all these rushes a few years ago, and there was one common thread running through them all. I saw Zhao as an actress, and over the past few years, what struck me was the transformation, the changes in this woman. And I thought, I must make a portrait of this woman who lived through the period 2001-2018 with all these huge changes.
这10几年经历了什么，所以也会有廖凡的角色出来。我觉得这十几年，这个中国社会变革是非常剧烈的，然后。 就是有很多新的东西，也摧毁了很多东西。其实，在个人的情感生活里面，也有很多被摧毁的，也有很多在坚持保留的东西。社会跟人都蛮辛苦的，我觉得，对，就拍这个电影。
Of course, I also evolved as a person, and I was thinking about that. So there's my own personal changes. We have the character of Liao Fan in the film, for example, and we have the whole history of China, these sudden radical changes that have occurred in the country. So new things are happening. And there's also a lot of destruction. So you have these two that coexist at the same time, the destruction and appearance of new things. That's true in the feelings of people as well. Be it in terms of society or the individual, things aren't that easy. All these changes entail quite a lot of suffering as well.
10年前，我带着24层机来戛纳的时候，中国发生了很大的地震。10年过去了。
I'd like to recall that when I came for 24 City, about 10 years ago, on the 12th of May, there was this horrendous earthquake. It was exactly 10 years ago, day for day.
今天我们中国人用各种方法来纪念，来哀思。 那另外一方面，我们个人经历的，可能就只能拍电影讲出来了。
Et je sais qu'en tant que Chinois, on est tous essayés de se remémorer ces moments tragiques.
All we Chinese people remember these tragic moments 10 years ago. On a more personal note, I think it's only through the cinema that you can relive all these things.
First question is for Zhao. After what happened with Qiao Qiao and your character didn't go to the vengeance road, and you chose to confront him, but in a very gentle way. What do you think that is her intention?
I think 一个女人在最青春的时候，把自己所有的情感给了一个男人，而且为他付出了5年的监狱的生活。在这5年监狱生活当中，没有任何的沟通。5年监狱生活之后，他一定要找到一个答案。我觉得他在去的时候，心里已经有很多答案。也许他还念着他，也许他已经很怎么样，他已经心里有很多答案。但是我觉得这一点就是让我特别喜欢的一点，他一定要自己去问兵哥，我要让他告诉我你到底是怎么想的。我觉得这就是这个女人的性格所在，也是我非常喜欢的一点。
So I think that as a young female person, devoting her whole life up till that point, loving this particular male characters, and I do think that especially after sacrificing herself, taking the rap for his crime, and then spend 5 years in prison, I do think that during this time there's no communication whatsoever with Liao Fan as a character. So for her, it is really a journey to find answers, to find closures of this particular love relationship that she had with Liao Fan. And I do think that as a character, I loved the personality of her wanting to know the answer face to face with Liao Fan, for Liao Fan to say it to her face what the answer is. Because when she was in prison, during all these time, that she actually have a lot of answers in her head, in her mind. She anticipated what kind of answer it might be, but she want to face Liao Fan in person and to somehow have that closure for this period of her life. So I think that's the reason why I was drawn to this particular character, and because of her personality.
在我们生活中有很多这样的女性的形象。当人到中年之后，说话声音很大，关键的时刻都会站出来维护自己的尊严和家庭的尊严。我觉得时间在他们脸上留下了岁月的痕迹，但是他们在生活中遇到的各种各样的问题，解决各种各样的问题，这样的情形之下，让他们的内心变得非常非常强大。我觉得他们这样一些人物是有血有肉、有真实情感的，也是非常感染我的一点。我觉得包括我的母亲在内，也是从小把我跟妹妹带大，经历了很多。
So I think female character like this is actually very common, and they are everywhere in our daily lives. And I do think that especially when you reach middle age, for someone to really become tougher just because that they have to defend themselves for their own dignity and their family's dignity. And I do think that they also, throughout this growing up, going into the middle age, I think that they have experienced a lot and resolved a lot of conflicts along the way. So I do think that this type of tough personality is something that I found very attractive, and I see that in my own mother, who's also raising my sister and myself growing up, and I can see how she toughened up throughout the years, especially when she reached middle age.
Allez-y.
I have two questions for the director. What message are you trying to convey through your new film, which reminds us of some of your former films as well? Second question. You have quite a lot of international partners in the team. What did this international cooperation do in terms of helping the film?
这个电影的所涉及的时间，2001年到现在，确实是我，基本上跟我的这个，我1998年拍出了第一个电影《小五》，然后到今年正好20年，所以我电影里面这个2001年到2018年这18年，恰好是跟我的创作生涯是重合的。那么就我刚才已经讲，我们在这段时间里拍了大量的影像，那这部影片呢，事实上我也跟摄影师艾瑞克一起，我们挑选了一些过去拍的影像很小的部分，然后我们然后我们发现其实影像也有一个改变的一个历史，所以我们这部影片用了6种摄影设备，包括开头的。DV 包括胶片，也包括这个高清，就各种各样的设备，它也是我个人所记忆的这18年里面我们影像的一个演变史，然后我跟摄影师一起用这样的方法来一方面拍人物的这样的一个命运的变化，另一方面对于导演来说也在回顾，也在回忆。我们曾经用什么样的影像，就是面对过我们自己。
As I said earlier on, this film covers 2001 to 2018. In terms of my career as a filmmaker, I began shooting films in 1998 with Xiu Wu, The Pickpocket. And now we're 20 years later. It's as though the time covered by the film covered the span of my artistic career as well. As I said, I built up a lot of footage during these films, and together with Eric Gauthier, we chose a certain number of these rushes, and we realized to what extent this reflected all the changes that had occurred. Also, there were changes in terms of the equipment, the technical equipment for this film. We used rushes which were shot with 6 different cameras, DV, HD. Through this film, you can see the memories of a filmmaker as the various camera techniques have evolved. And also, the film reflects the changes in images. It's an interesting combination. There's a parallel with the fate of the people depicted in the film. I was interested in all these different aspects. It's a sort of a retrospective, it's a form of retrospection on several levels.
Deborah Cole from AFP News Agency. I have a question for Zhao. I was wondering, I think you've made 5 or 6 films together as a couple, and so I was wondering if you could take us through sort of how your collaboration works, how much of a partnership it is on set, and how you manage to keep a wall between your personal lives and your professional lives when you're making a film together.
Uh, 我是属于工作和生活分得很清楚的一个人。当我进到剧组的时候，我对我先生的称呼永远是导演贾导。 然后我回到家里面呢，就是我们家庭的一种称呼。我觉得我们这样的一个界限都保持得比较好，所以我们工作的时候状态就是工作，然后回归家庭的时候就是回归家庭。所以我个人其实在我不工作的时候，我自己生活还是比较简单的，因为在剧组忙碌的生活，特别的消耗自己的精力、体力，而且要进入到人物当中，所以在自己的生活当中反而要简单，让自己释放一下心情，让自己缓冲一下压力，也是在积蓄一些力量吧。所以我是会把工作和生活分得很清楚的。谢谢。
I'm someone who really want to separate my professional life with my private life. And throughout all these films, working with director Zhao, whenever I'm in production, when I'm part of the crew, I always refer to him by director Zhao. But when I come home and get back to our own families, we have nicknames for each other, but that is something that is just belong to both of us privately. So to me, it is something that I want to separate very clearly. And I do think that because of the fact that I'm spending so much energy and it's exhausting to get into the character during the production, and I do think that for my private life, I tend to keep it very, very simple, just so that this will be the time and opportunity for me to feel relaxed and recharged, so that I can go back to work and then get into the production again. So that's how I usually collaborate with the director. I separate these two spheres very, very clearly.
而在我们的具体的工作当中，其实我们的工作方法也是比较这么多年来有一个非常常规一个模式。导演写到完成了一个剧本之后，然后他会跟我讨论这个角色，然后我也会跟导演来讨论这个角色。我们在创作过程当中，特别是在拍摄现场的时候，我觉得从我一开始当演员的时候，2000年，我觉得我一直在导演说好就好，导演说不好就不好。可能我那时候的判断都在导演的身上，但这么多年过来，我自己在表演的路上一步步的成长。我觉得我对我自己的表演，对我自己的工作方法，以及对我自己所饰演的角色有我自己的想法。所以更多的时候，现在我会跟导演有一个沟通。比如说，导演说这个角色他应该是一种表演方式，但是作为女性的一个心理一个情感来说，我可能会从另外的一个角度进入到这个角色当中。所以我觉得我们现在更多的是一种相互的沟通、相互的讨论，来确定一个我自己在表演上的一个方向。
So in terms of our collaboration, there's tend to be a routine that we already built up throughout the years, and usually started with the screenplay, and then we would discuss the characters together, and then based on that during the shooting, we would then somehow would take direction from him, and there's a slight change in, I guess, progressions that I have experienced from year 2000 until now. Back in the day, in year 2000, if the director says that this is good, I tend to think that, yes, this is good enough. But now I do think, so I more or less just take the direction from the director. Whereas now, I do think that because I have matured as an actor, and to me, there's something that I feel very, very strongly about, including the way that I want to perform and interpret this particular character, and also my methods. And I have something that of my own that I want to communicate with the director. So now the way that we collaborate is more collaborative in terms of communication, in terms of discussion about the characters and how I want to, from a female perspective, to interpret and find an entry point to really make this particular character come alive. And I think he's very receptive to my opinions and my suggestions as well. So I do think that right now it's more dynamic in terms of our collaboration, more so than before.
Oui, une question là-bas.
Yes, hello, Peter Hu, German Television. I have a question to Mr. JIANG and Madame Zhao. Concerning the character, you said the interpretation and the discussion of the character. I was wondering, the character you're playing, she is such a strong woman, and at the same time, she never is able to liberate herself from this relationship with the man she loves. Why can't she never set herself free? Thank you.
大家想了解一下，说在诠释和讨论这个女性，就是巧巧这个角色的时候，为什么是这么一个强势的一个女人，但是到最后呢，还是没有办法挣脱对于这个廖凡的爱，一直都没有办法从这个讨出来，有这样的一个有趣的状况。
我觉得就是在他的情感的过程之中，就是从他们俩年轻时候的那样这种热烈的爱，包括彼此的付出，然后一直到这个三峡的部分，两个人分开之后，我觉得，涛这个形象，他也试图在寻找新的感情和新的生活，但是最后他选择了一个人来生活。我觉得这样的一个结局，并不是当这个兵哥再回来的时候，我觉得那是一个真正的一个江湖原则，也就是在中国就是所谓叫无情，就是赵涛在电影中说的无情了，但是还有义，这是江湖文化非常重要的一个原则。他还在按一个江湖的原则在处理他的人际关系。人际关系处理他的情感。
So I think that, of course, for this particular relationship between them, from when they were young, the puppy love and devoting themselves to each other, to the sacrifices that they made, especially she made, and up till the point that when she visited the Three Gorges Dam to try to look for him, and then ended up separating and broken up as a result. And I do think that after that particular breakup, she really wanted to find a new page in life, in love, trying to find new relationships. But at the end, she decided that maybe it's better off for her to be by herself and to be alone. And that's why she returned to her hometown. And I do think that the last part, when Mr. Bing went back to the hometown, stated in one of the lines of the film is that even though the love no longer is there, but this kind of jianghu moral principles of taking care of your family is very much still there. So I do think that it's not so much in terms of this romantic love that she's trying to still hold on to at the end. It's more or less of this jianghu moral responsibility that she feels that she still need to uphold as a character.
Andrew McCarthy from the German press agency DPA. I just had a question for the director. Did you have any problems with the Beijing censorship board when you were making the film? And if you did, could you just say what problems they were? And do you have a sense that censorship is getting more difficult in China now for filmmakers?
《江湖儿女》这个已经通过了审查，可以在中国发行放映。我们计划在这个就是中国的发行时间很快就会确定，已经在发行的准备跟安排工作之中。整个影片完成之后没有做任何的修改。
So for Ashes Purest White, we have already received the Dragon Seal's approval from the Censorship Bureau, and we are in the process of releasing the film, hopefully soon, nationwide. And I do think that the process for us for this one is pretty smooth, and then after the film that I finished and I completed, there's nothing being cut or any revisions done as a result of the censorship.
目前就是审查我们 就是电影工作者跟审查之间呢，就是沟通渠道还是比较畅通，然后每个导演都在尽力的在推动自己的电影能够顺利的能够跟中国见面，我觉得整体上还是比过去要进步很多。
In terms of a system structure and the system of censorship, I do think that the filmmakers now tend to have a lot more channels that they can communicate with the censorship bureau, and I do think that a lot of filmmakers really want to work within the system so that these films can be seen in major theater releases. So I do think that the environment has improved a lot to open up that kind of channels for the filmmakers to actually have their films shown in the country.
Allez-y.
Inès Gilles de Lisbonne, Portugal.
Inés Gil from Lisbon, Portugal. In your film, you mention on 2 or 3 occasions explicitly spiritual belief. Could you talk about that at greater length?
Ask a question now.
就是在这个廖凡饰演的兵哥这个人物，以及涛，其实他们在一个变革的时代，从7、8年开始的中国的变革时代，然后当他们成长之后，就是他们这个 underground world 的这个地下生活的这个世界里面，他们有他们的一个精神的一个价值，这些精神的价值可能有一些是从传统的江湖文化来的，有一些甚至是从这个香港80年代的电影的这个电影里面来的，包括他们的礼仪，包括他们的价值观。我觉得如果说精神生活的话，我觉得就是他们一直从2001年到电影的结尾，特别是涛这个人物，他一直在坚守这个价值。那么廖凡饰演那个兵，他在这个价值的转换过程中，这个也备受煎熬。我觉得这可能是占据他们精神世界最主要的一个矛盾，最主要的一个冲击。
Disons sur le plan de ce qui les anime sur le plan
In terms of spiritual belief or psychology, once again, I think this is linked to the fact that the characters lived through major changes. They grew up in the midst of all these changes, and in the face of these changes, they had to shape their own set of values and moral compass. Once again, as I said earlier on,
par rapport aux œuvres de Hong Kong qui mettaient en
work from Hong Kong impacted us. We had all these films about the mafia, the underground. Bit by bit, owing to the ups and downs in life, the characters gain a set of values, often values that are a spin-off of this mafia-like world.
剧烈的一个变革的过程中，很多东西确实摧毁的就像烟灰一样就飘散了。但是什么是我们要保护的？我们不能让它就是摧毁的。我觉得对于赵涛的一直的独身，他在情感世界里面他的选择跟处理，包括廖凡最后的出走，对我来说就是独立和自由。我觉得这是 最后的人性的证明。
Face à ces bouleversements, finalement,
Given all these upheavals and everything being destroyed, everything is burnt to ashes, which then just are swept away in the wind. You realize that you have to keep certain things, that you have to ensure that not everything is being destroyed. When it comes to Zhang Tao and her character, this is all very important. And also for Liao Fan's character, what counts perhaps above all is independence and freedom.
I got a question for Mr. Liao Fan. How did you manage the Shanxi dialect in the film? 我想问廖凡老师，您在片中的山西话是怎么学的？谢谢。
我以前没去过山西，然后很荣幸能够跟贾导演合作，但是要做他的演员，似乎一定得说山西话。
不一定啊。
以前有。
不是，以后我改。
对，以前我记得好像《24城记》里边是说山西话，没有，都说普通话，对吧？然后这个只能一句一句的去听磁带、听录音去学习。还好导演对我的要求没有那么的严格吧。在我跟他见面说第一次开始读剧本用这个方言来读的时候，他就给了我极大的鼓励，说你说的太好了，你不用再学了。然后我一下就觉得自己非常好。
So I didn't speak or didn't learn how to speak Shanxi dialect before this film, so I have to start everything from scratch. And I thought that, well, since I have to have this great honor to work with director Zhao, I better really polish up or start learning the Shanxi dialect. And then the director says that, well, not necessary for my films. There are films that are actually not in Shanxi dialect. But anyway, going back to the methods for him is to listen to the recordings, and then sentence by sentence he would sound out the Shanxi dialect. And I remember that director Zhao was very, very encouraging. The first readings, when I was reading the script, he already complimented on how wonderful my Shanxi dialect was. So I do think that that was a great encouragement for me, and I picked up the rest of the production using the Shanxi dialect, and that's what you hear in the film.
Good afternoon. This is a great movie. I would to ask one question to the actor Liao Fan. What is your opinion about the being in this film? 下午好，这是一个非常棒的电影，所以我想问一下男主角廖凡，你对这个电影中您所扮演的兵是一个什么样的评价呢？
什么样的？
就是你是怎么看待这个兵？在这个电影中？
我觉得像兵哥这样的人物，可能在现实生活当中，或者每个人回想身边的朋友当中，都有这么几个，不是一个像兵哥这样的人。可能以前我去做这个人物的选择的时候，我不会选择兵哥这样的人物，因为那个时候我还比较年轻。然后看完他的故事以后，我非常吸引我，我想终于有一个角色可以来演一个有时间跨度的，然后境地是变化非常大的这么一个普通人，我觉得是普通人然后我印象当中有两场戏是让我觉得是非常有意思的，就是我跟他再次相逢在这个小旅馆里边。然后两个人的一个对话，我觉得，那个是兵哥的从心底发出来的声音，那是他的一个对于世界、对于感情的一个选择，而且他一直会按照他的那个选择的路一直走下去。他就是那样的人，就像风一样，他不会停留下来的。可能他停在某一处，他就会枯萎，没法再有那么活力。他一定要不停的去漂泊、去斗争、去 去捞这个世界，因为我觉得可能男的都这样吧，世界在心里面是最重要的。
So I do think that if you think about the people around you in your life, you will notice that you do know a few people, just like Mr. Bing as a character. And I do think that when I was younger, I do think that this kind of character might not interest me. But now I'm more mature, and I really see this as a very juicy character that I can really shine in, and because of the struggles that this person has gone through, the time span, such a long period of time. And to me, ultimately, this is an ordinary person that just trying to survive. And because this person is someone very much of a drifter, almost like the sharks that if you stop swimming, then you die. And for this particular character, she needs to drift around to really find the next struggles, to find the next world that he wants to experience. So I do think that that's the reason why I find this particular character interesting. I remember one of two scenes that I want to mention. The first one is the one that we are in this particular small hotels, and the dialogues between us. I think that's very much talking about the inner world of Mr. Bing, and how he sees the world and where he belongs in this particular world. And I do think that's one of the defining moments that for this character to really talk about something honestly and sincerely.
Allez-y. Ce sera la dernière question.
Good morning, I'm Francesco Lepore from Italy for JIANG. I got a question for the director. Watching the movie, I consider that this definitely is a Chinese movie, but I think you made some directional choices in a Western way. There are some long shots and handmade movements of the camera that makes me think that are we going to have a worldwide common way of shooting movies? And if it is happening, why is it happening?
我觉得电影本身就是自身就是一种语言，那么在电影语言，在电影100多年的发展的过程中，不同的导演，来自东方的、西方的导演，不停地在丰富这个电影的语汇，丰富电影的语言。那在这样的一个电影语言的系统里面，我觉得导演是完全可以自由的。是什么样的方法，什么样的语言是能够把你看到的、听到的、想到的，把你的情感讲出来，你就可以用那样的一个语言。所以对我来说，90年代末开始学习电影，当我开始工作以后，已经是很全球化，也是很互联网化的时代。我电影思想的来源、精神的来源。有中国电影，也有法国电影，有意大利电影，有俄罗斯电影，是整个丰富的电影世界，都是我的思想的来源。所以在电影的世界里面，我也很少提东方跟西方，电影就是电影。
To me, cinema is the language itself. So in terms of the cinematic languages, I do think that look back on the cinematic histories, you do see many Western directors and directors from the East that are trying to create and enrich the vocabulary of this particular language that we all work in. And I do think that as a system, we as directors need to have that need to have the freedom to use these vocabulary very freely. And then, so look back on my own career at the end of 1990s, all the way to the year 2000 and going forward. And it's in the midst of the globalization and the interconnectivity of an internet. And I do think that my inspiration came from many directors, could be from China, could be French directors, could be Russian directors. And I do think that it's part of that system that we are building a language together. And to me, I really don't make the distinction whether or not this is from the East or from the West or from the Eastern or Western directors.
但是我觉得可能重要的是找到一个个人的口音，就好像我们每个人讲话有我们的特点、我们的节奏，甚至我们的乡音，就我觉得这个口音是重要的，因为它代表一个个体、一个作者他讲述的方法、他的拍摄的方法。
So, but within this particular cinematics language system, the most important thing is for each director to find his or her own accent. That you need to find a new, in terms of your rhythm, the way that you, the pitch or the tone of your voice. It's very much like the language that the tones that you can enrich with your film, with your cinematic individual style language. So I do think that's what we do as an individual director, is to find your own accent.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. That brings an end to the press conference. Thank you very much for your interesting questions. And I'd like to thank all the members of the film who came to attend the conference.